Shalom from Jerusalem. This is Watchman Talk, a series of conversations with military and security experts and practitioners. I'm Amir Oren, and our guest today for the second part of our chat is retired General Avigdor Kahalani. Welcome. In our first conversation, we got to the Yom Kippur War, October 1973. You are in charge of a tank battalion, regular army tank battalion, very young soldiers, 19 and 20-year-olds, and you are already a veteran, a 29-year-old lieutenant colonel. And here you are, all of a sudden, even though there was some early warning, the Syrians are attacking in force. There is something of an anti-tank ditch in the area, some natural obstacles, but you are overwhelmed by several brigades, even several divisions, and you have only one brigade of several battalions to block them. What happened?
First, you have to know that Golan Heights is just 12 mile wide and like a 50-mile long, no more than that. And they had the mission to invade to the Golan Heights in one day. And we fought to block them for 4 days. And we lost more than 2/3 of the Golan Heights. We lost the Hermon Mountain, this was the eyes of the nation. We lost all the south area, and the brigade commander and his deputy was killed over there. And we found ourselves near the Valley of the Tears with 7 brigade, and the mission was to block them. And they came with Rifat Assad.
The brother of the president.
That he came from on the last day, on Tuesday.
To reinforce them.
And they arrived to the area, and they had a mission to accomplish the mission, to invade the Golan Heights.
Also, they were later reinforced by Jordanians and the Iraqis.
Yeah. And my mission was that I was commander of the battalion to block them. My commander, Janusz Bengal, have decided to withdraw in the first day. I was in another area, and they called me with the 7th tank that was left. And he decided to withdraw from the first line to the second line. And he ordered to those tanks that it was belonged to me, but under another commander, to withdraw and to come to...
because it was supposed to be a better tactical position.
Because I couldn't stop the Syrian. And it was the moment that I was with 7 tanks in the second line. I saw 8 helicopters above my head, 50 meters, something like that, with many soldiers commando. And they landed behind me like 2 kilometers. And they blocked, the only road was open at that time to evacuate the casualties. And now try to...
so you were encircled.
Try to imagination. Artillery shell was falling thousands. Their aircraft, they bomb us all over, even my tank 3 times. Israeli tank running away. Behind us, the main road, nobody can bring us logistic, all the what we need, gas, whatever. And this was the moment that I was here. And Janusz suddenly decided to move me from the second line to the first line. And he said, I'm going to change my mind, take your tank and run immediately to the first line. It sounded to me unlogic. I said, no, I'm not going to with my 7 tanks. I'm going alone to see, to figure out which play, how to operate those tanks. And suddenly he asked me, Victor, by the way, how many tanks do you have? I said, the Syrian listened to our voice, but I tell him how many tanks I have. I said, I'm going to line you. And there is a saying, just Jewish people know that, Lashon Sagina, or it's come from Aramit. And I said, I'm going to give you a message with Lashon Sagina. And I told him they have 40 tanks for all.
Tongue in cheek, one may say.
Yeah. And I said, I have 40 tanks. No, 41. And I'm ready to go to attack them. When I moved along it was like 2 miles, and I saw already a few Syrian tanks waiting for me on the hills. And I've decided to come from the left side and to attack them with my tank alone.
Hold it for a second. Earlier in the 1960s, the Israeli tanks, because of some technical improvements in gunnery, had a better range than the Soviet-made tanks that the Egyptians and Syrians had. But this time around, the Syrians were already supplied by new Soviet tanks, and because of the close proximity, you had no advantage over them.
No, we didn't have any advantage. The silhouette of their tank was 2 meter high, and we have 3 meter. It's completely different. They have the main gun was the cannon was 115 millimeter. They can shoot for 4 kilometers without any problem.
You were more vulnerable.
Yeah, we had to shoot 1.5 kilometers, no more than that, 1 mile, no more than that. And every tank had the infrared system. During the night, they could shoot whatever, and we didn't have infrared. Some just because some budget, somebody saved money on
your skin.
Yeah. Anyway, I found myself in the front of me 4 tanks, and I killed them. And I found after that alone look all the Syria side, and I was in shock. I saw something like 100.
So you have to move up and down and rapid fire. So your gunner must have helped you a lot.
Yeah, but I had to bring all the tanks. I had 11 tanks, something like that, and to try to be back on the hills that I can stop them. Most of them was in the Valley of the Tears.
What is the secret of leadership in such a situation where, of course, it's mortal fear, people are getting killed, your troopers know that they are in mortal danger?
I tell you, there is 3 levels of leadership. A leadership like company commander and platoon leader. As commandership is battalion commander and brigade, and generalship is the division. I was commander during all this kind of level. First, if you want to move your soldiers, you have to be example. To be, to be in the front of them. They can look at you, they can listen to your voice, and nobody will stop after that if they can see that.
So do you fake it when you sound cool under pressure, while you internally are not cool at all? How do you?
All the time you feel that just you are going to be killed soon.
So how do you fake it?
You behave like an actor, because like an actor, if he doesn't feel well on the stage, he will continue. And you know that all the eyes look at you and look at your back when they see you and they listen to you. And now you make the show. You have to make the show. Show them with the flag that you are on the front. Everybody can see your number on the tank. They can see your back from behind, and nobody can stop.
And they listen on the radio.
And they listen in the radio to my voice. And of course, it happened to me in 67, it happened to me. And this was the moment, it was the critical moment that I couldn't convince them to move forward, to be on the top of the hills to stop the Syrian. I was the only person in the world that I knew 160 tank arrived, and we've been like 11. And the last moment, how I convinced them, I told them, MIC chicken in my unit. We are better than them. We Jew. We know how to operate our tanks. What happened to us? And I start to move another thing. We arrived to the top of the hills.
So positive as well as negative incentives. You lead them by praise, but also by...
It's come from our education, the value of education. And somebody I met after the war, he said, I didn't move. I listened to your voice, and suddenly you call me chicken. I thought I'm going to kill you. And I move forward. He feels shame to stay behind us, and he moved forward. And this is maybe all the kind of the education and the responsibility
So
that we have our country.
So on the 9th of October, the fourth day of the war, you managed to turn the tide. The Syrians were blocked, and later your unit and others moved into Syria proper. And at war's end, you found out that not only did you lose many of your soldiers, but also your own family was struck twice.
Yeah, I didn't know. I continued to fight until the last moment. And then when I was a ceasefire, my commander called me and said, "Go home." I said, what's going on? What happened?" He said, "Your brother was killed." I had my brother Emmanuel. He got married a day before Rosh Hashanah, the New Year. He was tank commander, and he was in the middle of honeymoon. He was killed in Sinai. I had another brother in my battalion. They evacuated him 8 days before that. And when I realized what happened to me, and after that he said, even the brother of your wife was
Your
killed.
brother-in-law.
Yeah, brother-in-law. For her, it was the second brother. It was killed during the war. And we lost in this war 2,654, something like that, soldiers, 7,000 badly wounded. And it was a hard feeling.
You didn't know that you are post-traumatic. You were even pre-traumatic. You didn't know that another trauma had awaited you in 1973. So after surviving two such harrowing experiences in 1967, 1973, all these operations, your body, your mind, you still decided to stay in the career?
Yes, of course. 2 years after that, I became the 7th Brigade commander. I was very proud to be there. And
this is, by the way, Americans remember their legacy, the 7th Cavalry under General George Armstrong Custer, 7th Cavalry coming to the rescue everywhere, and the 7th Brigade did the same in the Golan Heights. And you wrote the book in English called Heights of Valor.
Heights of Courage.
Heights of Courage. And
you told me the name.
Okay. And you went to study in...
I studied in the United States on the Command General Staff College in Kansas.
How did they relate to you?
It was so strange for me. First, every day coming home, afternoon, and I had many problems with the language. I didn't understand what they're talking about, With I thought
you can't just shoot a language and occupy it. You have
I was listening, and I had a lot of experience, but it's completely different in our country. I was the commander of Command General Staff College. It's you have a small group, 12, and you can talk with them. And in the United States, you have a section like 60, and nobody know you, and you are like a catalog number. And I lost few exam, and they called me and said, "Oh, what's going on?" I said, "No, I was brigade commander. I know all the material." He said, "But how come? How do you, I don't know you."
This is academic, and actually they have been studying your battles, and you could have failed a class where they studied you.
I found people read my book in the school and said, "How come? I didn't translate it yet, the book, The Heights of Courage." I said, "No, we found a way how to translate it."
The U.S. Army, the U.S. Army had
translated, and it's a small story. Minister of how we call it, security? No security.
Where?
In the United States, Pompeo.
The Secretary of State during the Trump administration, who was a West Point graduate and chose armor resistance.
He was a few months in our country. He came here to say hello, and somebody said, "Come to the Golan Heights. He would like to meet you." I said, "Oh, well,
But you go to the Golan Heights frequently.
Yeah. But he said, we met each other, and the ambassador here in our country, he said, "Do whatever you want." He said to the ambassador, "You can move me from area there, but one request. I would like to meet Avigdor Kahalani in Golan Heights. How come? He said, and Pompeo said, I read your book 3 times when I was in the West Point, and you were the hero of our class, and now I'm very happy to meet you.
Well, of course, yeah. He was first in his class in West Point, and of course, you can choose your branch when you are in the top 10% of your class. He chose armor, and he patrolled the border between the two Germanys before unification, and obviously the Israeli Defense Forces were some of the best examples of armor warfare. So after the 7th Brigade and other assignments, you were given the command of the 36th Armored Division, which was at that time the biggest and most powerful unit in the Israeli Defense Forces. And you had 2 missions. First, you had to pacify the Golan Heights, even though the Golan Heights were already occupied, but there was an incident where Israel decided to annex the Golan Heights and give its population, mostly Druze, Israeli ID cards. Now, they were afraid that their families will have retribution from Syria, and they resented it and objected to it. So how did you manage?
I got an order to give them identification, and I didn't know what to do, how to do it, because I didn't know the people. And of course, we have done, we followed brigade, we move from house to house, we give them the identification, and they make a show, they throw it away when we moved, and after that they run to take it back. Anyway, it was, as I found myself standing in the front of few thousand people, talk to them, and try to explain to them, this is what we need if you don't want, blah, 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 blah. Anyway.
So this was your first political experience.
And yeah, I found myself in Bukata and Masada and Majdul Shams almost killed me. And I remember that so well. And when we finished this operation, my commander, the North Command, said, you're going to be the chief of the Druze people. Like, they love you so much. And how come that you push them to take the identification, and after that they appreciate it?
Now, when this political move was decided on by the Begin government, they expected Syria to go to war in order to avert it or take revenge. And your division already in late 1981 prepared to go into Lebanon, which eventually you did some 6 months later. And you predicted very accurately the number of Israeli casualties if this operation goes forward, and if the Syrian army clashes with you, or if the IDF goes to Beirut. So you knew in advance that this was going to be a different sort of war.
Yeah, it's, some people said why we have done this operation in the Lebanon. At that time, we didn't have any question about that. We saw this is the way to push the PLO from the border, and they shot so many artillery shell to our towns and near the border, and we have decided to do it. They moved me from the Golan Heights. It looks strange to move me from Golan Heights from the Syrian, because Syrian, they're waiting for us. And they took the risk at that time. And I moved and I fought in Lebanon with my division. We arrived to Beirut. Yes, I can tell you, I remember so many situations in this war, but one of them, it was in Saida. And I had 100 aircraft
This is a big coastal town north of the border.
And I've decided to send them back to Israel because I was in the middle of the town and I saw so many people running away. They don't know what to do. And I thought, I'm not going to kill them. At this moment, even my mission to invade to this town.
Palestinians as well as Lebanese.
Yeah, and I've decided to send the aircraft back with the bombs, whatever. And after that, I read in the newspaper that we killed so many people. It was It's a lie.
There was another issue, another moral or leadership issue, because you were asked in advance in a friendly conversation, if this is going to happen and so many people are going to be killed in a war of choice, not a war that was forced on you, why do you stay in your position? Why don't you resign? And one of your answers was, it's my responsibility to my troops not to leave them on the eve of battle. They will have another commander, a fresh one, and they will be in more danger if I'm not with them to protect them.
Look, I know what you mean. I was the division commander at that time. And we had a big argue if we are going to invade to Beirut. And I thought to myself that, and I talked with my commanders, that I think it's a mistake. It's a mistake for many, many reasons, because to invade to Beirut, we had so many casualties, and it's mission impossible. We don't need to do it. But why we have to be in the middle of Beirut? And I tried to convince everybody around me, but I couldn't talk with some political people. They come to be in my headquarters and to tell them what I think about that. And I didn't tell them. Of course, it wasn't in my mind to move. Of course not, to resign. Of course not. I'm a soldier. I'm division commander. I know that this is my job to do. I try to convince. I've done many, many things in my life. And sometimes I convince my commander this is not the right way to do. And this is my mission. To run away, this is it's a shame from my point of view.
Now, in other armies, the US Army, the Russian Army, many other armies, a division commander is a major general, a two-star general. In Israel, a more modest, a poorer country, the chief of staff is only a three-star general, a lieutenant general, and division commanders are one-star generals. And you finally retired as Brigadier-General, and you went into politics. And after serving in the Israeli parliament, in the Knesset, for 4 years, you managed to be on the winning side in a coalition, and you became Minister of Public Security. How did your military experience influence the way you viewed the domestic front, homeland security, public security?
When I was in the Knesset, I tried to convince Mr. Rabin that he was prime minister to evacuate the forces from Lebanon. I thought we don't have to be there. This is my point of view, and we don't support our security.
This is between 1992 and 1995 when he was assassinated.
And after that, Mr. Rabin, we had a very good relationship. He have decided to go to the second Oslo agreement, and I couldn't agree with that. When he tried to convince the people to vote for him, to Labour Party, that I was part from Labour Party, he sent me to the Golan Heights to stay there and said, we never moved to Golan Heights. And he asked me to be in the Jordan River near Jericho and to stand near the water, and they said, we never will move from here. And after that, situation changed, and I found myself that why I promised the people, they joined me because they look at me like I'm the right wing in the Labour Party. And I found myself that
So
what I promised,
you left
and I've decided to leave, and we build a new movement on the name Third Way, and it's become after that party. And we got 4 Knesset members at that time, and I became Interior Security Minister of Interior Security.
and a member of the security cabinet.
Yeah. And I was, that time, Bibi was the Prime Minister.
Netanyahu.
And Netanyahu was Prime Minister. And I think the moment that I got this kind of job, to be Minister of Public Security, it's helped me when I came from the army, and I found this the police situation is similar, like sometimes like the army, and I found that I can change many things. And move them like the army should operate in our country. And I changed many things.
But one idea which you pushed, and it was based on the recommendations of several commissions, did not manage to win acceptance, and that is to take the home front command from the military to your ministry, to be side by side with the police, much like the border police and other units. But this makes sense.
Yes, and I've decided to border police to move all of them immediately to the border near the Green Line or something like that. The police, it was against me. I had to give order to do that, and they prefer to stay like wherever, some in Tel Aviv, some in another place, and I give them order to do it. And I thought this is the way it should be, and I changed many things. When I came from the army, and my CO was from the army too, we have decided to study everything and to make decision. And we worked so hard at that time, but it's helped me, of course.
What is so special about the Merkava tank?
I have two tank commanders in my home, two sons. It's a special tank. Why? First, we did it. We produced by Israel.
Except for the engine.
Another thing is one of the best tanks in the world. You have everything, all the facilities that the crew need. And of course, the protection with the engine in the front and all the crew is behind the engine. Sometimes it's support, sometimes not. But and you can bring crew to the third. 8 people can be there. But this belong to us. We're very proud in this tank, and I can tell you, it's almost like maybe similar like Abrams and the Leopard and whatever you want, and one of the best tank in the world.
General Avigdor Kahalani, your eyes light up when you talk about armor still. A veteran armor officer and fighter. It was a pleasure and honor to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amir.